Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this quick news video. We're going to be looking at the key points from the Logan Paul Impaulsive podcast with Triple H, just dropped earlier today. I've watched it all the way through. It's over an hour long and it's good. It's really good. There's some really interesting stuff in there. I don't think there's anything that's like mind-blowing, but there's still some really, really interesting stuff. A lot of psychology stuff in here from Triple H. He talks about it's not about the moves, it's about the work that you do in between the moves. Talks about how people remember how they feel about matches more than the sequence of moves that they see. Talks about slowing it down, letting the story of the match register. Said he learnt loads from Scott Hall, who was really underrated, Razor Ramon. Says that the Bushwhackers were fun to work with when he first arrived because they were older and they didn't want to do a load of bumps. So he had to find a way of having fun and telling a story without doing loads of moves and them taking loads of bumps. And he said that taught him a lot. He spoke about his craziest moment, which was a match that he has with The Rock and Kurt Angle, triple threat. And he was going to do a pedigree through a table. And the table broke, and so Kurt ended up hitting his head off a monitor and knocking himself out. He said that the way the match was meant to finish was that Kurt was going to be taken out back, which he was, but he was meant to come back, and so they were wrestling, he and The Rock, and they didn't know if Kurt was coming back. Eventually, he does come back, and he has no idea where he is, and he was just talking about how there were certain spots and he didn't even know if they were going to be able to do them because Kurt didn't even know what was going on. And he said, it's kind of crazy to look back now, what with, everything they know about kind of head traumas and concussions and everything. But that was one of his craziest memories. And he spoke about not knowing really or appreciating really just how special the Attitude Era was and just before the Attitude Era. He said quite often it just felt like another day. It felt like a Thursday. But now that you can look back, you can really appreciate the impact that time had. So, there was some interesting stuff. Logan asked a few interesting questions throughout this. I actually thought Logan came into his own more towards the end of this interview, and we'll get to why in a second. But Logan was asking, basically, he was trying to find a way of wording this, and I thought this was really interesting. He wanted to say, do you think... or why do you think WWE is not as popular as it was? That's how he was trying. That's the question he was trying to get to, but he was trying to be respectful. And the way he worded it was, do you think WWE is as big as ever? And Triple H actually responded with an answer I thought was pretty good on this, because he said, I do think it's as big as ever. Obviously, it's different because we are a global brand now. When you think about the Attitude Era and you think about how crazy that was, it was crazy in America, but was it crazy around the world? It was crazy here in the UK, but I don't know, was it crazy in India? Was it crazy in Australia? Was it crazy in New Zealand? Was it crazy in Asia? They were big, but what they're doing now is global. And he was kind of really trying to hammer that point across. So I thought it was a pretty good response. He said that he remembers being in Pittsburgh, and he said it was a half-empty room, and they used to talk about, do you think this can get back to when it was the Hogan days? This was, just before the Attitude Era. And he said literally a few months later, he was going to arenas, and the same arenas that were jam-packed, that were absolutely rammed. So he said it doesn't take long for things to, pick up and catch fire. And it was a cool little memory. He also spoke about how, again, he just touched back on, psychology. And he said that he's got some good friends in the industry that have said, machine gun fire in movies, he knows directors and everything, machine gun fire gets boring after 5 seconds. But he said he knows directors that can write a 30-minute scene that can have you on the edge of your seat, that will live with you for the rest of your life. And there'll be one gun, one bullet involved, and that is it. It's all about the moment, the drama, the build, the suspension. It's not just about, massive explosions all the time. So again, just kind of kept hammering that kind of point across. This is where I thought Logan did well, right? This part here, Logan really got into the conversation at this point. And he said that he was all in. He said that he was a fan, but he wasn't like a massive fan, but he is all in now. And he said even his girlfriend, she went to, I think, the MSG show, and she was just crazy about WWE afterwards. He said that he's a disruptor, and he said that he sees himself as someone that was on the outside that has now come in and loves it. And he really, and I really felt he was serious here, he wants to find a way of grabbing more people from the outside and showing them this world. I've got respect for that. I have got big respect for that. He says that, he wants to be included in things that are going to help do that. And Triple H was like, I'm all in. I'm all ears. Let's work together and see how we can do that. So I don't know if this teases some big moments in the future for Logan. I don't know if this means he's going to be involved in some big, eye-catching moments. Obviously, we got a massive eye-catching moment at SummerSlam with Brock and the tractor and the ring being picked up. But it'll be very interesting to see, if WWE sit down with Logan, what kind of comes out of that. Because obviously Logan's got a young audience. He knows what plays well on social media, what plays well on TikTok, what plays well, in certain areas that Triple H just doesn't. Triple H said, this is why I'm so excited to work with you, because I don't know about any of this stuff. So, and I would imagine Steph probably feels the same. So, yeah, it was kind of interesting. Logan definitely seemed very excited about the idea of disrupting things and bringing in fresh eyes, new eyes, people that have never really given WWE a chance. We went back to Triple H, and he was talking about Vince. We did not talk about Vince for a long time. We were probably on the Vince subject for a few minutes. He just repeated really what he said. He said that Vince's shoes are going to be big shoes to fill. And he said that there's an opportunity now to go in a direction they've never been before. And just really excited about the future. That's kind of all they said, really. Logan said that Vince was really good to him, and he thinks that he might be the last superstar that Vince ever signed, which I don't know if that's true, but it probably does stand a chance of being true. So, yeah, that was interesting. They asked if Triple H knew who Logan was, and he said he had no idea at first, didn't know who he was. But he put Logan and Bad Bunny over for their dedication. He just spoke a little bit about celebrities, said there's been 1 million that have asked to take part, but as soon as some of them have taken bumps, they're like, nah, I'm all right. Can I do something else instead? And so he was just putting over the fact that these guys, go to bed thinking about it, wake up thinking about it, and really dedicate themselves to putting in a performance and, giving the business the respect that it deserves. Logan said something really interesting here. I mean, I personally do not like celebrities in matches, but that's a personal preference thing. And Logan said something that kind of reinforced as to why I don't like it. He said that he can feel backstage that other wrestlers have got a bit of a chip on their shoulders, because he said he knows that he's got a cheat code. He knows that he has come into this at the highest level. And he says that backstage he can just sense from a few other wrestlers, of course no one was named, but he can just sense that there's a chip on their shoulder, that they're not happy about the fact that he has got that spot. And that is my problem with it as well. If Logan Paul is in a match at a big pay-per-view premium live event, then that means that a wrestler that works week in, week out, does the house shows, has got a good connection with the fans, is not going to get onto the card. There is someone that is going to miss out. If you put a celebrity there, there will be someone that misses out. And I can understand as to why there's people that have got like chips on their shoulder. I can understand why people feel that way. So I thought it was very interesting that Logan didn't shy away from mentioning that. That didn't need to be mentioned. And I don't know, maybe that was something that didn't need to be revealed, but I definitely thought it was one of the more insightful moments. One of the more, I don't want to say real moments, but there wasn't a great deal here that I think is going to trend, that's going to grab people's attention. But I did think that was interesting. They then spoke a little bit about why NXT was started and the struggle for finding talent. Triple H then spent quite a bit of time talking about Next in Line, the NIL program, and he was saying that, you know, we're working with athletes. They're kind of walking billboards for us because they go through their kind of, you know, school life, the rest of their education, and they're obviously promoting WWE. And then once they graduate, if they do stay with us, then brilliant. We've got the jump. We've got the relationship. We're in a great place. If they don't, well, it's no problem. You know, we've kind of had them shouting about us throughout their education, and it was kind of interesting. Logan spoke about how that would benefit the UFC as well, because you can really start working with someone when they're really, you know, young and still developing. And Triple H said, like, he agreed, and he'd spoke to Dana White from the UFC, and Dana had said that there was a Chinese woman, who I think he's probably talking about, Zhang Weili, who he really needed to win, because there's certain superstars that he needs them to win so that he can really capitalize on certain markets. And Triple H was saying, we don't have that problem. We don't have that problem because we can choose who wins, and we can choose who we hire and where they're from, and, like, you know, making sure we've got good representation. And it was an interesting part of the conversation. And then finally we got to Steph, believe it or not. Steph was actually there, obviously chairwoman now, co-CEO. She was just watching from the shadows, if you will. And there was a little conversation to end this on Steph. They asked what's the hardest part of working with Steph, and Triple H said admitting that she's always right, which I thought was like such a great political answer. Like, that surely won him some favour at home. So very good response, admitting that she's always right. And yeah, you know, it was just saying that it's something that has been, you know, a joy basically to work with your best friend. So there were some nice moments there, and they were just talking about the kids and all that kind of stuff. And then basically that was it. We wrapped it up there. He hopes that Logan and WWE can help each other out as they kind of engage on this exciting future. As I said, maybe nothing that's going to trend, maybe nothing that's going to grab headlines, but very insightful, very interesting. And I think if you're someone that is interested in the psychology of wrestling, the opportunity to listen to Triple H talk for an hour, pretty much largely on that subject, is an opportunity that you should take. It was good, worth listening to, and I think that it is something that will be of benefit for some of you out there. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this recap. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.